on DVD. I own it every season on DVD. Yep. I own every season on DVD, and I'm gladly proud and honored to. Are you gonna try to
Okay.
give me a? Are you gonna try to do a quick trivia on me?
You have to make sure and ask me what my favorite Oscar moments were because I have several of them.
Oh, I definitely was going to. We're actually live, so whenever you want to do your intro, I'll introduce you.
I'm ready.
All right, take it away.
Hey, everybody, I'm Ronnie Butler Jr., live from Los Angeles, California, and you are listening and watching the DJ Dani Show. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm DJ Dani. Thank you so much for tuning into the DJ Dani Show. Today is Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. Welcome to the DJ Dani Show. I'm your host, DJ Dani. I'm joined on Skype with the amazing and the hilarious, as you know him from True Jackson VP, my favorite show ever. I have Ronnie Jr. Butler here. He played Oscar, just so everybody knows. Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled and honored to have you, as you can tell.
I'm happy to be here. It's only taken us 2.5 years to make it happen,
It
but we
did.
made it happen.
Oh, we did. You know what? We have our brains, we come together, and we make things happen. And I
Amen.
think that is the best thing in the world that we could ever do. So why don't we start a little bit just at the beginning? Because before you being Oscar, I know that you did a lot of other acting. But when did the acting first start for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, when I was in grade school, I was always the kid with the biggest and loudest voice, and so and I had no qualms about standing up in front of strangers and talking.
Okay.
So I was always in all the school plays and things like that. But then I went to college and I was very serious. I was a very serious academic person, and I really didn't start acting until after college in my 20s.
Oh,
And
okay.
I started when I was living in Washington, D.C., and I did some community theater there. And then I started doing professional theater, and I got my union equity card by doing professional theater. And then I became a member of the Atlantic Theater Company in New York. And I
Oh,
moved to New York to study with them and to be a company member and to perform with them in our theater in Chelsea in New York. And that's really it. And when I moved to New York is when I started doing musicals because I'd always been a singer.
yes. I know that.
In New York, a lot of the work in theater is musical theater,
Mm-hmm.
and so I did a lot of off-Broadway musicals, and I traveled around the country
Oh,
doing regional
what
theater.
off Broadway did
Um,
you do?
say that.
What musicals off Broadway did you do?
I
Just to
think
name
the
a
most
few.
the most well-known one would have been the revival of Merrily We Roll Along, which is a Sondheim musical.
Okay.
We did the revival of it, and it was fantastic. I got to work with some people who are now Broadway legends, and I'm able to say I knew them then.
Before they grew
Um,
up, yes.
yeah, yeah. Michelle Falk, Danny Burstein, who is the star of Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes.
Also did a couple of sort of small comedic cabaret shows,
Okay.
sort of singing and monologuing shows. I did a one with several friends of mine. Who are good friends of mine to date. One of whom is Sebastian Arcelus, who went on to be in Rent and then on Broadway. He's married to the lovely lady Stephanie Block, who just won awards for Cher, her impersonation of Cher on
Oh, she
Broadway.
did share the musical.
I met all of these people when I was, yeah, the musical. hmm And so I met all of these people when I was living in New York doing mostly musical theater. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. See, there's so many things I didn't know of you. See, there's when you do research, you don't get the full research. It comes from the person itself. Just so you know. But I knew that you were doing, some music and everything, and plus with your Obama impersonations, I saw that. So I was like, he's a good singer. You should definitely pursue this career, and I wanted to know if there was going to be more to that.
Well, when I didn't intend to move to California. It wasn't my intention. I came out here to vacation. I
Mm-hmm.
have family out here, so I was visiting my family. And while I was out here, I had the chance to audition for Aladdin, which was at the time a show at Disneyland. It was brand new. They were just mounting it. And so I ended up booking that job, and I said, I'm just going to stay in LA for 6 months and do this Aladdin show.
Ooh.
And I ended up staying for 2.5 years, and I never left LA. And that's how I ended up in LA.
Okay. Wait, were you in Aladdin too?
Yeah, I was in Aladdin when I was at Disneyland, the original cast.
Ooh, who'd you play?
I started off as a Iago doing the puppetry stuff and talking, and then I was understudy for the genie and Jafar. I ended up doing the genie quite a bit, and that was a thing that really sort of shifted. Yeah.
I wish I could see that. That sounds amazing. I've never seen it on Broadway, but I just saw the movie with Will Smith.
With Will Smith. Is that the first? Did you see the original animated film?
Yes, I did. Robin Wilson is so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat him. But I mean, you probably did Amazing Genie too, but still Robin Wilson.
It was a lot of fun. What was really great about that job was that the genie, because of who Robin Williams is and how he created the role, we got to improvise, which is unusual for a Disney show. Most of the time, they're very strict about sticking to the script.
Yeah.
But everyone who played the genie you were constantly sort of trying to come up with new material, stuff related to current events. If it was a holiday, making jokes around the holiday. So it was an opportunity to work as a comedian and an improv artist in front of a huge audience. So we were constantly sort of looking for new jokes to add, in the middle of all the standard script material.
I think that's awesome.
That was really a change for me. I mean, I really turned a corner. That was something new that I hadn't done much of. And I think it changed the trajectory of my career. It opened me up to talents that I didn't know I had.
Yeah,
and I think
it was like an
paved the way
icebreaker
for me to be involved in comedy like Drew Jackson.
Oh my God, I love that show. But I feel like that was an icebreaker, that kind of like broke the ice for you to see like your fun side or something. Because you feel like sometimes when you're in musicals, like you said, it's strict, so very serious kind of thing. But having improvisation, that makes it better, It's not scripted as well as you think it is. It makes the character more real.
When I started working in TV here in LA, I got a lot of jobs playing doctors and lawyers and accountants. I used to work for lawyers when I lived in DC when I first started doing theater.
Okay.
And I wore a suit to work every day, and so I sort of know how to be that person. And it was very easy. I shouldn't say very easy. It was easier for me to book those kinds of jobs because I was comfortable speaking that kind of corporate language. And people didn't know that I was a really serious goofball. They had no idea.
Well, when I saw you as Oscar, I didn't know you were a goofball either. But I think that broke the character. It made it more fun, Like you were very family related with everybody in the office. And that kind of made me actually like prone to fly to you. And I'm like, I need to get Ronnie Jr. Butler on my show. And we're going to make this happen. And
well, the thing about Oscar was he wasn't in the in the pilot in the first episode.
I know.
Oscar only had 4 lines maybe. And I think this is accurate. But up until the point where we did the pilot, Oscar wasn't a character that was fully fleshed out. They didn't really. He wasn't really that character hadn't been developed or intended to be a regular part of the show.
Okay.
But then when they did the pilot and they saw that you needed sort of somebody that was in the center, and everything revolved around, and he was sort of the heartbeat of the office. And I don't know if you remember, but like the True and Ryan and they would always come to his desk to talk and complain and get advice.
Yep.
Everybody sort of met at his desk. He was sort of in the center.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that art imitates life. My dressing room was the same way. People would come and sit in my dressing room and talk and complain and seek advice. It was sort of the hobnob. It's interesting. a lot of.
I think it's also they vibe from you. You have really good vibes and communication skills, especially with me just talking to you. I mean, seriously, I wish I was just right next to you. It's ridiculous. But I just think it's amazing for how, how a character that isn't supposed to be that big, we made it that big. And I know you made it that big with all your lines and the fans and, everybody being a part of it. You guys were all like a family. I swear I wish I was on your set. I
It
wanted
really,
to meet everyone.
it really was a family, and people will tell you. I mean, we had people, we had people in our producers and people in the production staff, designers, people on crew, grips, lighting people would always say, people who are very experienced and who'd been on a lot of shows, that that show had a lot of magic because it felt like a family.
Yes.
People were happy, and that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen often on a show where it's magic, and you can't plan it. You can do your best to put all the ingredients together, and sometimes it happens, and most of the time it doesn't. But it happened with that show, and
I think
it's one of the first memories I have was the 3 years worth of episodes that we did.
I know it's only 3 seasons. I own all 3. It makes me so sad thinking about it. I wish we had season 4. Could we get a reunion? Do you think that could happen?
Wouldn't it be great if we had like a reunion movie? It'd be so awesome.
A movie would be amazing, or a reunion on DJ Dani's show. I'm definitely trying to see if I can get you and Danielle sometime, either on Skype. I don't know if I can get Greg, but I was great friends with Matthew, but he never responded to me after the one time after the Real O'Neills. And Ashley Argata, her manager, was kind of mean to me. And I swear, I went through everyone. I can't get Gertha, though. She's too big. I'm sorry, Kiki. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably see Danielle more than anybody.
Okay.
And I'm in touch with her more than anybody.
Yeah.
Ashley's pretty active on Instagram, and so I talk to her. I talk to her fairly
try
frequently.
reaching her on Instagram, because it was her management I had to get in touch with before I talked to Ashley. The management said so.
You got to me directly. You use social media, so.
Yes, me too. But well, I think it's, like I said, it's amazing having you here. I know we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Just for everybody that's tuning in, because they're all asking, who's this amazing person? This is Ronnie Jr. Butler. He's played Oscar on True Jackson.
Jr.
Ronnie Butler Jr. Oh, right. I see what I did there. Okay. He played Oscar on True Jackson VP, which was, oh my God, do you know what year that started?
Last year was our 10th year anniversary.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
So sad. I'm over here binging the episodes, and you're telling me 10 years passed. Well, yeah, Justin was really, really young too. Justin Bieber, when he was on the episode, like he had the hair flip, and he was doing One Less Lonely Girl. So I believe it.
You know what? I didn't get to meet him because I wasn't on that episode.
That's not fair. You should have still stuck around.
Yeah, I did get to meet Willow Smith though, because I was on that episode.
Oh yeah, whip your hair back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And Natasha Benningfield was in the episode too. I don't know if you got to meet her.
Nope.
No, it depends on the episode you're on. That's not nice.
Yeah.
They had a celebrity like every day on that show.
I know.
Which made it awesome.
There's a guy. I don't remember his character's name, but there was an episode, you might remember this, where they had sort of like a mini Max, a mini Mr. Madigan.
Uh-huh.
He was a young version.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a bad guy, kind of evil, but in a sneaky way.
Yes.
Do you remember that episode?
I do. I'm trying to remember. Where did he come from? Was it like not bring your child to work day? It was
No, I don't remember. But he is actually an audiobook narrator, which I do mostly now. I do a lot of voiceover and audiobook narration. And we met, and one day he was like, you know what? I feel like I know you. And he was like, wait a minute. I played mini Mr. Madigan on an episode of True Jackson. You're Oscar. And it was this great reunion. His name is Andrew Iden. And in fact, I'm going to see him Saturday. He's coming to the party.
Oh my God. Well, I know. I can't believe it. Actually, everyone tuning in as well. It's Ronnie birthday is on Saturday. So everybody send your birthday messages now, quicker than ever. Wow, that's awesome. So do you still, so you said you only really just talk to Danielle right now. I mean, I feel like, were you close with Greg as well? Everybody you were close with,
Yeah,
right? Just everybody
Greg
just,
is Greg is one of the kindest and most. I mean, he's super busy, but he will always answer a phone call or a tweet or whatever. He has no. He's been in this business a long time, and he has no pretense. He's super busy. He's always on the road. He's a stand-up
he is,
comedian, and
yes.
he's on the road. I mean, like 360 days out of 365 a year. He's a busy guy.
He is. He really is. I was going to say, did you think you would get into stand up or would you try to be on Whose Line Is It Anyway with him? Because I would love to see that happen.
Oh my gosh, that is so intimidating. Those guys are so fast
You
and
got
so.
it. You can do it.
I don't think I could keep up with them. I don't think so.
Well, Greg can teach you.
But I'm working on writing. I'm writing a couple of things that are comedic in nature, but they're full cast things.
Okay.
So, uh, I'll be doing them as audio dramas. Audio is so big right now. Well, as you know, you're on iHeartRadio and whatnot.
Thank you. Yes.
But there's an explosion of podcasts and of audio storytelling, and because I do a ton of voiceover and audiobook narration. I do kids books, I do young adult books, I do adult literature, I do nonfiction, I do fantasy, I do romance. I'm really lucky. I get to do a lot of different kinds of work in that area.
Oh, mystery?
But
Do you do mystery? Like a mystery?
I'm about to do a mystery. I'm about to do a mystery thriller.
Okay.
The Jason Bourne series of books.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a new book. Oh gosh, Treadstone is in the title. I'd have to look it up. I'm already until next month, which is why I don't have it on my mind right now.
Yeah, no
But
problem.
it's Robert Ludlum is the name of the author who began this series, and I'm going to be doing a new Treadstone book in the whole Jason Bourne legacy. Yeah, so that's a mystery and a thriller. Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see you doing that, and I definitely see you. Do you do poetry?
I don't. I'm thinking about doing some poetry just because I like it. Poetry. I've done some poetry that's kids poetry,
Okay.
mostly African American stuff for kids about jazz, the birth of jazz, about the birth of civil rights, stuff that's taken from poets of the Harlem Renaissance. I've done a little bit of that. Poetry is not a very big market in audiobooks, but I have done some, and I love poetry.
Well, I wanted to let you know as well as we also do voiceovers here at Hamilton Radio. So if you're ever interested, we'd be happy to help you with that too.
Well, thank you.
Of course. And I knew you put that out there because you were seeing if you can get some gigs too, and I'm totally okay with that.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trying to help everyone anywhere. So if you're looking for more work, where can people contact you, Ronnie?
Oh, I am on Facebook, Ron Butler. Sometimes it may take me 3 or 4 days to reply on Facebook. But I will get to you. It's Ron Butler on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm Ronnie Butler, RONNIE BUTLER. And on Instagram, I'm Ronnie Butler Jr., Ronnie, RONNIE Butler JR for Junior.
I just love that it's Ronnie. Like it's not Ron. Is your real name Ronnie?
It's all my on my resume and on when I'm credited on TV and whatnot. It says Ron Butler, and that's sort of like my formal actor professional name.
Yeah, but
nobody actually calls me Ron. I mean, some people in my family call me Ron, but mostly everybody calls me Ronnie. My dad was a Ronnie. I'm Ronnie Jr. All my close friends call me Ronnie, so everybody knows me as Ronnie.
I feel like I got to call you Ronnie too. I mean, that's just how the interview goes.
Please call me Ronnie, Dani.
Okay, I'll call you Ronnie. So, Ronnie, why don't we talk a little bit? What about Oscar were your favorite moments?
Oh my gosh. You know what I loved about doing that stuff? I grew up, and this is way, way before your time. It's more, your dad would more be able to relate to this, but I grew up watching like the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, no, I know that show.
And like the Sonny and Cher show where they did like
that. I grew up
that
watching
sort of sketch comedy where they did a lot of physical comedy. And I never thought of myself, and no one thought of me as like a physical comedian. But the thing about Oscar was I got to do all these great physical comedy bits. And that was my favorite part of the show. I mean, I had two favorite parts, right? I got to have these heart to heart sometimes with the kids, sometimes and giving them advice and
Like
sort
a
of
caring parent.
being the parent away from home there at the office because, Mr. Madigan was completely unreliable, and Amanda was completely insane, and so I was the only adult that
though. What
was
did Copeland do?
Copeland.
He just ran out of each room, right?
But I loved all the physical stuff. Like there's an episode where I'm bringing in a lunch tray and Amanda's getting a face pack, and she's covered in mud and stuff, and she scares me, and I just get to do this whole like, yeah,
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I did that, 10 times a day, every day for 5 days during rehearsal. And it was always fun and it was always funny and it was great. And, I got to do things like spit takes. And there was one episode where I opened a pizza box and had 5 pounds of flour blown into my face. I just got to do all this incredibly fun stuff, Yeah.
And I think I really needed to know, how many ascots did Oscar wear?
Oh, it was a different one every week. So if it was 45 episodes, it would have been 45 ascots.
All different colors.
Yeah.
Because I remember I just watched the one episode last night where it was the original day where everybody was outside of their professional clothes.
Yes, and I was wearing the same thing.
Yes, you were wearing an ascot and then an under ascot. That's why I had to ask you. Because Kiki was on.
And I think I'm remembering this correctly, and the producers can take me to task, but I'm remembering this correctly. Is that the ascot was my idea? I wore an I for the audition. I read the description of the character, and I thought, you know what? I was thinking, would he wear a bow tie? What would he wear? And I thought, no, he'd wear an ascot. And I literally took some scarf that belonged to somebody else. It wasn't mine. And I found something or a piece of material and I made this thing and I wore that to my audition and they loved it. And that became a hallmark, the trademark for Oscar.
But was that your market into getting the role as well?
I mean, I think it was a small part of it. I mean, it was one of those things where, as so many auditions are in Hollywood for TV, especially, sometimes somebody walks in the room and they start talking and immediately that's the person, that's the guy, that's the girl, that's the character. And I think that ascot in combination with both the warmth that I generated as Oscar and the physical comedy that I generated as him combined, I think it's all those things that helped me get that job.
And I just think it's amazing, you being yourself though too, right? Because you were yourself. You knew the lines. You probably aced it as soon as you walked in that room. And then the ascot was just the 100% mark. So it was like a check mark when you walked out. He made it. He's done. Next person.
Yeah.
But how many auditions did you have to go through?
I don't know, 3 or 4 at least. Yeah.
To get the part?
Yeah, I mean, I think because at the time, like I said, they didn't think that they didn't realize that Oscar was going to be regular on the show, so it was 4 lines. So, you don't have to see people 20 times in order to see if they can do 4 lines, but the most important audition was when they were doing what they call chemistry reads, where they pair people together to see what the chemistry is like, because they want everything to click. Yep. Remember, I told you that they're looking for that magic. They're hoping that the magic happens. And part of that magic is casting, getting the right chemistry. And so, on the final day, after all the Amandas and all the Mr. Madigans and all the Ryans, after all those people auditioned at the very end of the day, I went in to read with Kiki as Oscar.
Okay. So the chemistry.
Say that again.
For the chemistry, right? Like you guys had to both,
Definitely.
yeah. Hmm.
And that was the, that was the final audition. That was the fourth or fifth audition, and that's the one that sealed the deal.
And what did Kiki say? I like you.
Oh, I have no idea. Because whatever she said, she probably said it after I left the room.
Oh, okay. She didn't say anything to you?
No, she just said her lines.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because that's how you have to be as an actor. Like you have to be
Yeah,
very prepared for that.
she did her job, and I left the room, and then they probably talked amongst themselves and made a decision.
Well, I'm glad. And I'm still astonished that, even though it's 10 years ago, it was still such an amazing show. I never thought
Yeah,
I would be so like drawn into it, but it speaks to me. And every
yeah.
single episode has a meaning or something that happens, even if it's funny, it's still a lesson. Or it's even though, Amanda was mean to True all the time, she still had a little heart for her. I
Oh
definitely
yeah,
always, yeah.
yeah.
I love the meanness though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, the mean stuff was great.
It made the episode good. It made it more juicier.
Yeah, it makes it sing. I mean, you have to have that. You had to have you have to have the bad girl. You
Now,
know.
now, question. I wanted to know. I don't think this is possible, but if they ever made your character something mean, could you ever be mean on screen?
Oh yeah, sure.
Really? No, I can't. I
Yeah,
can't see that. No.
mean, is mean. I mean, that's fun. Playing somebody mean is fun. I think, but it's harder than you think. I think it's harder than people think. I should say. Um, being mean, it's easy to go over the top and do sort of the idea of the bad person. Um, but really sort of letting yourself lay into other people and try to hurt their feelings, as a character is challenging, but it's really fun. I mean, if you can get people to really dislike you, you've really done a good job. But it's a lot more fun to be bad because you never get to be that way in real life if you're a goody two shoes. I mean,
No, I understand that completely, but I mean, I feel it's different depending on whoever either you're talking to or just seeing on TV. You see someone that's so, like you said, a goody two shoes, or just somebody that's so nice and genuine. If you hear
yeah.
them say they're going to be a bad person, my mind will be shocked, be blown. I can't see that happening.
I've never gotten cast as a really sort of evil person. I got cast once as a really snotty, condescending sort of um, character once, and that was a lot of fun. It was on a show that only lasted one season. It was called Dirty Sexy Money.
Okay.
It was a nighttime sort of a nighttime soap opera drama, like Scandal or something.
Yeah.
And I did a couple episodes of that show. That was before True Jackson. I did a couple episodes of that show, and I played a sort of a nasty, condescending character. That was a lot of fun.
Okay. See, I told you I couldn't see it. Well, snotty isn't that mean, but I guess more. You know what I can see, and I think you should try this sometime. You should try to be in a Lifetime movie. I watch Lifetime like it's my breakfast.
I auditioned for a couple of Lifetime movies, but they weren't big parts. But I never got them. So, from your lips to God's ears, I think that'd be a blast.
I think he would be awesome. Like I said, I watch him every night with my sister. So I'd be like, Ronnie, I think you're in this movie. As they replay him and everything. But I definitely can see you in being in maybe a Lifetime movie sometime. So I have a little psychic sense. I don't think I forgot to tell you that. But yeah, no, I definitely do. And I think it's amazing what you're doing for the audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks.
And I think it's awesome what you're doing, and I can't wait to hear more music from you and all as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be recording a couple of songs this summer. My dad was a musician.
Yes.
I come from a musician family.
Is that the one that he posted for Father's Day?
Yes.
I watched everything.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Originally from the Bahamas, my dad was a calypso musician from the age of 18, 20. He was, the number one recording artist in the Bahamas for 6 decades, and I grew up singing with him on and off on stage. And there was a time in New York when I stopped doing theater for a while, and I was singing with a jazz band in Europe, and I was going to Europe 4 or 5 times a year, and I'm touring with them, and I recorded a couple of albums with them. That was what I did, before I moved to LA. While I've been in LA, a couple of years ago, I did a series of concerts at like some small venues, and I had enough people say that they want me to record. They want me to record stuff. So I'm looking at starting to record. I'm not going to record a whole album at a time. I'll probably do. My idea is to start like a subscription service on Patreon, where I would record and provide. I would provide like a song a month, in addition to poetry recorded, in addition to audiobooks in the public domain, in addition to some tutorials for people that are interested in doing voiceover and audiobooks, providing all this content for a small subscription fee, like $2.99 or $3.99 a month. And you get music that I'm making and all this other great content as well.
Basically like a backstage
video
pass for you as well, right?
Yes.
Into your life.
Totally.
I think that's amazing. When are you looking to try to make that happen?
Before the end of summer.
Okay, so are you focusing on making the website first?
Yeah, I mean, Patreon is a site where a lot of people do something similar like this,
Okay.
So it's the idea is that you're a patron, you support an artist, and so there's a lot of people that have YouTube channels that also have Patreon sites, because they don't have ads. They want to provide ad-free content. And so as opposed to getting paid by advertisers, they charge like a nominal, subscription fee.
Yeah, I hate ads.
And that way they get the ads with no content. So I told you I was writing like a funny audio drama script right now. It's like a 30 or 40 minute sort of cozy mystery.
Okay. Sounds exciting.
And that's going to be, I'm going to put that on my Patreon site. I will be doing additional episodes of that. So I'm writing that stuff now.
Okay.
And I want to be able to launch the site by the end of the summer. So I'm working hard at creating material, but I'm so busy actually working. I'm doing so many audiobooks and so much voiceover that I'm finding I'm having a hard time squeezing in my own creative stuff. But hey, I'm blessed and I'm grateful. It's it's a good problem to have.
We're glad to have you do that as well, and just to pursue your career and what you enjoy to do is a blessing for all of us to watch.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
You are very welcome. And I wanted to also let you know, when you do posting on Facebook, depending if you remember, you can also make sure you tag me, and I will always share it on my page for you or post it on my website.
Thank you.
My website just was created by my great friend Louis Cedino, DJ Friction from 102 DLG, who also picked me up from iHeartRadio. He actually created my website. So
wonderful.
I bless him so much for that, and I think it looks amazing, and I could put more stuff on it. So if you have some more creation that you want to put out for yourself, let me know, and I'll see if I can add another widget or something like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You got it.
Friends stick together.
Amen.
And I think, what else did you want to say? So we have that working. Oh, can you do some Obama impersonation for us?
Dani, every time I walk around in public, people always want me to say something like Obama. And I tell them, you know what? I'm really tired of doing that. I left the house, I left the office, and I'm in retirement. I'm golfing, I'm traveling to Hawaii, and I really don't want to be bothered. So thank you, but no thanks.
I just want to know, when you, were you a huge fan of Obama? Is that, where the impersonations came from, or was it more of just...
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of his, and I was also just fascinated with what was going on, culturally, by having our first Black president. And I was actually at a casting director workshop. I was like an evening for actors, where I was reading material.
Yeah.
And these two ladies turned around to me. This was in 2007. Okay. So this would have been a year before he ran for office. This is right before election year.
Yeah.
And they said to me, you know what? Has anybody ever told you look like Barack Obama? And I said, who? And they said, the guy who made the big speech at the Democratic National Convention, he's probably going to run for president. You should send your headshot to Jimmy Kimmel and say, people tell you look like Obama. And I bet they'll have you come on the show and do sketches. And I said, sure. And so on a lark, I sent my headshot to Jimmy Kimmel.
Mm-hmm.
I asked my manager time to do it. And the casting director at that time was a woman named Carolyn Liam, who's now a good friend of mine. And she hired me to come in and do a sketch. And that was the beginning of it. And I did maybe 2 or 3 episodes. I did 3 episodes of Jimmy Kimmel as doing Obama sketches. And I started to develop, it was an opportunity for me to take all the stuff that I'd learned doing the Genie, that improvisation and that sketch comedy stuff. And like I said, the throwback to my childhood, that kind of humor,
yeah,
and
definitely.
to write about it, and also be social satire, to comment on what was going on in our culture, and both the positive and negative things that people were saying and what was happening, how he was being criticized and how he was being lauded, doing all of that, but in a way that was true to who I am as an artist. So with music and with irony and with, impersonation.
Wow.
So it was a real great opportunity for me to grow as an artist. And it wasn't something that I expected to happen. It just sort of happened to me, and I was open to it, and I just sort of ran with it.
And you enjoyed every moment of it.
Oh, I did. It was great. I mean, when I did the first sort of major video that I did was something called Modern U.S. President, which is a musical.
Is that on your YouTube? Yes, I think I've heard that.
Yes, it's a musical parody of a musical called Pirates of Penzance, Modern Major General, and I called it Modern U.S. President. And I wrote it, I directed it, I hired the director of photography. My friends did the catering. I did it like a production of a short film. And, a friend of mine helped write out the parts that I wanted. I had 12 friends of mine show up at a recording studio to record the voices of the chorus. And the first time I sat back and listened and heard it all on track and listened to it, I had one of the biggest feelings of fulfillment that I've ever had, because it was something that I had imagined in my head and I'd heard, and then I saw it manifested in front of me, and I thought, oh, this is what it's like for people who are truly artistic, who are whatever they are, painters, sculptors. With acting, it's harder, because unless you're doing it on TV where you can go back and look at your performance, once you do it, it's gone.
Yeah.
But to have this thing that I made and to think, oh, I heard these things in my head, and then to actually hear people singing it and have it in front of me, it was incredibly fulfilling, and one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done.
I think it's amazing. I tuned into all your your YouTube videos. I watched all of them this week, and I had to binge watching a couple more because I was like, he has so many videos. But like I said, I saw your father, because you said your father was a singer, so I saw the Happy Father's Day post, or the video. And then I saw all your Obama ones. And I still haven't yet to watch the one with Trump, but that was the recent one that I saw. But I loved the songs. They were just very catchy. They were exactly perfect impersonation. And it was more the fact that you were enjoying it. You know what I mean? It didn't look like that you were having a horrible time. You were still being the president of the United States, but you still had your cup, and you liked it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, you kind of felt like you had the world for like 15 seconds. I'm sorry? Oh, I can't hear you, Ronnie. Hold on. Guys, I lost Ronnie. Can you hear him? Hold on. Something happened to the volume.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go on. What were you saying?
No, I just said it. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, and I thought just every ounce of, what you performed in all your shows, even if it was in True Jackson VP, every ounce of yourself and just you being yourself and versus the character, it makes you shine bright. And it makes me honored to have you tonight on the DJ Dani show and just know that I'm speaking with you. Look, I'm making you like the president here.
You are. Stop.
And
Stop.
I just.
Hey, did you want to take some calls? We don't have much time left, I just realized.
Oh.
Do we have any calls?
Yeah, we could take some callers. If anybody wants to call in, the phone number is 609-807-2492. 609-807-2492. We also put the number up on Facebook, so we're just going to see if anybody wants to call in. Can you tell them to put the number up on Facebook, please? And we're going to see if we can get some callers here. Did you want to also tweet it?
Sure.
You have a moment to tweet it for us? Because you know, sometimes if you if you tweet it, fans will be like, oh, it's you. I tweeted. I'm really nobody right now, so.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I meant compared to you.
Well, let me see.
Ronnie knows what I'm saying.
Okay, hold on.
Now let me think. What was my favorite episode of True Jackson VP? There was an episode where...
I'm just saying. Now.
No, you're good. 609-807-2492.
609-807...
2492. Let's get some fans in here. Or Danielle. Danielle can always call too.
So what other questions do you have for me? You must have something that you haven't asked me yet. What would you like to know?
Well, all my questions are more in my head. I don't like to sound scripted on purpose. It's more of the fact that me getting to know you kind of as my interviews, and I appreciate and enjoy every moment of it. Well, we heard about your singing career and your audio is what you do. Well, I know you like to do comedy. I do know that compared to your impersonations. Who else would you like to impersonate?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I hit it right on the head.
I really thought about that. If there is anybody else that I would like to impersonate.
Or who you think that you'd be perfect or awesome at doing, or want to try.
You know, I'm oh my gosh, that's a really good question.
Maybe you shouldn't have asked me.
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
It's interesting because, you know, for a lot of audiobooks, I have to do like sort of vocal impersonations sometimes. Not necessarily exactly, but something like it. But that's different than having to do, you know, do it live with your whole body and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being seen as opposed to just doing it vocally. So that's a good question. Let me think about that.
Okay. What about for like if you did, for instance, say you did kid books, would you ever do like maybe Donald Duck or Daffy Duck or some kind of a way that little kids could interpret?
Oh my gosh. You know, I'm doing well, I mean the voice actor that does Mel Blanc, who does those voices is so well known and does them so well. One of the joys of doing audiobooks for kids is that I get to make up my own character voices.
I think that's awesome. Yes.
And so I'm doing a book next week. It's the second in the series.
Okay.
It's a kid's book, and it's called Ra the Mighty. Ra as in the Egyptian god Ra, and it's set back in ancient Egypt. And it's a story about the pharaoh's cat, and you know, cats were worshipped.
Oh my gosh.
In those days. So this cat belongs to the pharaoh, and he's spoiled rotten. He's lazy, and he's narcissistic.
Okay.
And but he ends up solving mysteries with his two sidekicks. And I have so much fun doing these books because, you know, there's all the people in them, and there's all the animals that all talk to each other, and they're trying to solve mysteries, and you know, they talk and act like real people, you know, emotionally mature people. And it's an absolute blast. I absolutely love it. I could do it all day, every day. Really, I would love to do an animated TV show. That would be like a dream job.
Oh, okay. We
Yeah.
can. I could definitely see that. Maybe try to get it on Netflix or TV.
Yeah,
Netflix is
absolutely.
big right
I
now, so
do
we could
that.
definitely try Netflix. As you were talking about the kids' book, I was about to laugh because I was about to tell you my mother just published a children's book, and it's called "How Snowflake Finds Her Courage." It's about a little white cat, white cat named Snowflake, and she finds her courage. Basically, it's an obstacle for the animal to, overcome her shyness, and she finds her courage. I can't tell you what happens, but I can always see if my mom wants to do, someone to read over it so we can get it because we have it out everywhere, and I'm sure you would enjoy it. You were just talking about a cat. I was like, Ronnie, this is perfect. Like,
Yeah. I mean, does she sell it on Amazon?
yes, it's on
Yeah.
Amazon. I think she also has it on. I know it's at Barnes and Noble, and I think it's also on another website. I'm not quite sure, but I know it's on Amazon. I can always link you with it too. You don't have to purchase it. Don't worry. But
Congratulations to her.
yeah, and she's working on a second book now called Jake, something about Jake's dog. It's going to be a boy and his dog named Jake.
Okay.
My mother's a children's author, and she just created the other one, and she's so happy and blessed about her book. She wrote about our cats, so.
That's fantastic.
So I will talk to her to see if she wants to do some, maybe like, an audio book about it or something, because we already have a book. How do we get it on audio? Would that be we go to you?
It would be whoever you want. I mean, there's a
I want
lot of
you.
narrators
No,
out there.
I want you.
And you basically you hire somebody to produce it. I mean, look, you've got tons of equipment right there. You've got
I want
I don't
Ronnie.
know how. I mean, you've got microphones, you've got audio producing equipment. I don't know how soundproof that room is that you're in, or if you have a smaller studio that's got more sound baffling in it.
We have this studio and the second one over. We have two studios. Like
Yeah, so you basically go in and you read the book, and then you go through and you edit and you take out all the breaths and all the hiccups. You make sure it's word perfect, and then you upload it and sell it on Amazon. I'm simplifying the processes. I mean, it's actually,
No, you're good. I know. I understand. Yeah.
yeah. But those are the basic steps that you use in order to create an audiobook. And it takes, I mean, it's a kid's book. So how long is her book? How many pages?
Mother, are you out there? Okay, I think it's like about 13 or 15 pages.
How many?
13 or 15 pages.
Oh my gosh, that's that would be done in a day.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say a couple years or a month.
No.
Yeah, no, because I think that would be awesome. And if we could get you, if you would like to, we'd love to have you.
Sure. Well, you know what, Dani? Have your people call my people.
My people will call your people, Ronnie. Don't you worry. I got you. Were you able to think of somebody else you would impersonate?
No, I'd have more fun working on my own characters. Like when you watch Saturday Night Live and they come up, all the different actors have these characters that they come up with.
Yeah.
That's what that would appeal to me more.
That's why I think you would be perfect on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Even though it's a lot of improv, you know what I mean? Like improv, but it's quick.
Those guys are so good.
You are so good, Ronnie. Let's get you on there. It's not Drew Carey anymore? Is it Alicia James or Alicia?
I don't know. Is Greg still on it? Is Greg doing it?
Yes, he's still on a few episodes. Wayne Brady, Colin Macri, Ryan. I don't know his last name.
Okay.
But you've seen that show, right?
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
I'll try to see if I can contact Greg and tell him to contact you to get you on the show with him as your birthday gift.
Oh my gosh. I can tell you, there's a line of people that want to get on that show. A line of people.
Yeah, but you should definitely be in the very first. You know somebody from that show, so you kind of do have the the spotlight. Just so you know.
Sometimes it works that way, but a lot of times it doesn't.
I'm sure. Or if you know of Wayne Brady, he can get you in too. So you have your options.
Actually, I met Wayne once. He's a friend of mine.
Okay.
Um, but he's a nice guy. All the people on that show are pretty nice people.
Yeah, they
Very
are
nice people
really good. And
and very talented.
they bring in like different guests, like different people that come in randomly. Uh
Hmm.
like I think Elizabeth Giles was on yesterday. Somebody from Nickelodeon. She was on Victorious. So they change up their guests all the time. So maybe there's a way you can contact them too.
That makes me think. That makes me think of. Do you remember the episode of True Jackson called Amanda Hires a Pink?
Yes. Was that with Jeanette McCurdy?
And oh my gosh, she is so awesome. I absolutely love her.
She's beautiful. Yeah.
She was such a sweet person. I had a blast with her the day she was on set. We ran around taking crazy pictures all over the place, and she was just awesome.
Now, can she really rollerblade or was that just for the show?
No, she can really rollerblade.
Okay, because she did amazing. But sometimes you can make it look like you know what you're doing on the show and then you just fall on your butt.
She actually was rollerblading.
And
Yeah.
I think Kiki was trying to too in that episode. But I remember that Danielle was getting really pissed off about her when she started to become friends with her. It's like the best. Because it was like she tried to hire the person that she hated, and then they so soon, saw eye to eye. And she's like, "Are you serious?"
And then she turned on her. So good.
Yeah, the best. And I think a lot with Ashley Argata and her character, with her playing Lulu and Kiki and everyone being a family on there. It made me feel like I wanted to jump in the TV. Like Blues could do, like from
Yeah.
Blue's Clues into the TV and just be a part of it. Like it was just so welcome warming. It felt like through the TV, just watching it.
That's the success of it. I mean, when you wanna jump in and be in the middle of it, that says that's a success. That's when you know something's happening right.
But what happened to the success? Was it that viewers stopped watching, or was it more they didn't want to pick up another season? I mean, I never really got to figure out what kind of happened.
Yeah,
Maybe it just went their own way.
you know, most of the shows on Nickelodeon, with the exception of what was it? I can't think of it now. The name of the show that Jeanette was on.
iCarly or Sam and Cat?
Yeah, iCarly. iCarly was one of the few shows that actually went more than 3 seasons.
That was a good
part
show.
of the formula, the profit formula for making shows in that space for a young audience is they generally don't plan to have more than 3 seasons. That's sort of just the way that's the template that they work from.
Okay, I never really knew that. Yeah.
Something has to be a huge hit, and we were a hit, but you'd have to be a huge hit, which iCarly was, in order for them to come back and do a couple more episodes. A couple more seasons, which they did.
And I was trying to say that I don't remember, but there wasn't an iCarly and a True Jackson VP switcheroo, was there?
No. I mean, we did have
weird.
crossover. We'd have the stars from that show on various episodes of our show.
Yeah.
But there was never like a full switcheroo.
No, I think if they did that, that would have helped with the views and stuff too. Because everybody's interested in that kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
And you would be interested to meet everyone from the other show, even though you probably already did. Or worked.
Yeah,
with
we
them.
met them all. We met them all. Even if we weren't on each other's shows, you meet at the Kids' Choice Awards, all those kinds of events.
I'm actually really good friends with Bubba Ganter. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know him.
Have you heard of him? He's from the one Nickelodeon show right now, Dan and something it's called. It's like a Nickelodeon kids show.
Okay.
But he's always at the Kids' Choice Awards, and he said hi, so he's tuning in.
Oh, awesome. Hi.
So I just think it's pretty amazing how, even though you just start off at one show, you never know how successful it's going to be either, right? Like, until more episodes come, you just build a friendship, and then it's all gone. It's so sad. I feel like it's my duty to try to bring back a reunion I'm going to do the best that I can. If I can get you and Danielle, it's a start, right?
I think both Danielle and I would say yes, absolutely.
I would,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we could try with Greg, but like you said, he's on tour. Matthew's engaged. Kiki's doing her own thing, and Ashley is just, I don't know.
Oh well, it's not. I mean, if you do a reunion movie, that's only a week out of, or a week or two out of everybody's schedule. People could, I guarantee you, if somebody, if somebody found the money and said to the producers, "Hey, make this. Will such and such a network will buy it or pay for it." I bet they do it. Sure.
Or Robbie Amell, we can get him in too, because you need Jimmy.
Yeah. Everybody would. I think everybody would say yes just for the hell of it.
And compliment. You got to kick him out of the room again.
Oh yeah.
I just, the success in everyone's show is amazing, but compared to True Jackson VP, it's definitely the star.
Yeah, we had something really, really special. I'm going to be forever grateful for that experience. It was just amazing.
I'll be forever grateful for watching it. And I'll always be like a fan, no matter what.
Thank you.
Even
Thank
if you jump onto something else. But I'm excited for your new music and everything. I think that it's a big hit and start for you. I'd like to know what's in the works.
Well, I'm going to keep you posted. And like I said, I gave out all the ways for people to keep in touch with me. But also, if anybody's ever wondering, or if anybody sort of wants to be on the mailing list so they can know what I'm up to, they can just go to my website and click on updates, and it will ask you for your email, and it'll send me an email, and I'll put you on the mailing list for keeping you updated on all this content that I'm creating. And my website is ronniebutler.com.
No junior.
No junior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's because I bought the domain a long time ago, and before I made the decision that I really wanted to add junior to most of my moniker. So that was the thing that everybody's had become familiar with. So that's why I just stuck with it.
Oh, okay. Well, it makes it easier to find it, though, like typing junior versus in the domain than just Ronnie Butler. But
again, yeah, if you go there and you click on the button that says updates, you'll get a page where you can like fill in your info, and I will update you. That's why it's called that.
Well, that sounds amazing. I wanted to just say my mother responded, and she said it's 37 pages.
Oh, okay. Still a day.
Yeah, but we can see. I'll talk to her about it. If you're interested, we can definitely see if we could try to do something. Because I know we'd love to have you, and you'd be perfect being a cat. Come on. Meow. Do you have any last questions or anything I can help you with promotion or anything before we end the show?
We've talked about everything. I just want to thank you for putting this together, for not just for yourself, but for all the fans of the show, for all the people who followed us for so long, who gave us all of their support and all their love, people who continue to tweet me and who hit me up on Instagram and on Facebook to express my love and gratitude to all of them for being with us and with me on the journey, and how much I would love to carry them forward as I create other things that I hopefully will entertain them and move them. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for you for giving me and all of the artists that you do a forum to talk to people and to engage with our audience, which, without them, we are nothing. So thank you, and thank all of them. And
you touched my heart. I'm about to cry right now. Of course, Ronnie, you are very welcome. I was going to say this is not your first time. This won't be your last time on DJ Dani Show. We'll have you back as soon as you get more material to release. And I'll see after I get Danielle on the show, maybe next year we'll see if we can get you both on the show together. I don't know if you can come to the studio, but if it's 2 Skypes, it's not that bad, I
just go to her house or she'd come over to mine. We just do it together.
Oh, well, then that's perfect too.
Yeah.
Good. And we can see if we can make that happen. And then maybe we can get more, try to get colors and stuff, because we need to do more, like a little more promotion for that, especially if Danielle's a part of it. So we'll definitely see if we can work that out, and we can get Oscar and Amanda to talk like Oscar and Amanda, and then that works too.
That'll be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. I am so honored and blessed to have you. I cannot wait to hear more about your music that's coming out and more of your audio books, because I think that's amazing, and I hope you pursue your career, and I hope I see you on Whose Line Is It Anyway, because I know that I will see you on Whose Line Is It Anyway.
Thank you, Dani. This has been a real pleasure. I really, really appreciate
Of course.
it. You're
Of course,
awesome.
everyone, real quick, I just want to let you guys know that his birthday is on Saturday, so make sure everybody says happy birthday. Happy birthday! Everybody from the back of the studio is screaming right now at you. Well, thank you so very much for being here, and I will have you back next time. I hope you have a great birthday, and I will message you on Saturday.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Blessings. Have a good one.
Peace and blessings. Bye.
Thank you.